Have you ever walked into a small apartment and felt like it was somehow bigger than it should be? In Japan, homes are often tiny by Western standards, yet they rarely feel cramped. That's no accident. It's the result of dozens of quiet design choices that make every centimeter work harder. Today, we're counting down 12 Japanese home secrets that instantly make tiny spaces feel massive. Let's get started. Number 12. Multi-purpose furniture that hides in plain sight. In many Japanese apartments, furniture is never allowed to do just one job. A bed folds into a wall during the day. A coffee table lifts up to reveal storage underneath. A bench opens up to hold blankets, books, or seasonal clothing. Instead of buying more furniture, Japanese homes ask more from the furniture they already have. The result is a room that can transform from a bedroom into a living room, into a home office, all without adding a single extra item. Some apartments even use a single low table that serves as a dining surface, a workspace, and a place to fold laundry, simply by changing what sits on top of it. It's proof that space isn't only about square meters, it's about how many jobs each object can do. But furniture is only the beginning. What happens once everything actually needs somewhere to live? Number 11. Vertical storage instead of horizontal clutter. When floor space is limited, many Japanese homes simply stop competing for it. Instead of spreading storage across the floor, they build upward. Tall, slim shelving units climb toward the ceiling. Wall-mounted racks hold everything from spices to shoes. Even hooks and pegboards turn empty walls into functional storage. Some families install shelving all the way to the ceiling and use a small step stool only for items that are used once or twice a year, keeping the everyday zone completely clear. The floor stays clear, the eye travels upward, and the entire room feels taller and more open. It's a simple shift in thinking. If you can't expand outward, you expand upward instead. And once storage moves off the floor, something else becomes possible. Letting light move freely through the room. Number 10. Light-colored walls and natural light as a design tool. Dark rooms feel small. Bright rooms feel open. It's a simple psychological trick, but Japanese interiors use it deliberately. Walls are often painted in soft whites, light woods, or muted neutrals that reflect rather than absorb light. Curtains are kept sheer or removed entirely during the day. Mirrors are placed to bounce sunlight deeper into the room. Even furniture legs are often left exposed instead of hidden behind fabric skirts, letting light pass underneath and making the floor feel like it stretches further than it actually does. None of this adds actual square footage, but it changes how the brain perceives the space. A small room bathed in natural light can feel more spacious than a larger room drowning in shadow. Of course, light alone isn't enough if the room is still packed with unnecessary objects. Number 9. The art of owning less, not more. This is where the Japanese concept of dansheri comes in, the practice of decluttering by refusing, discarding, and separating from things you don't truly need. Instead of organizing endless belongings, many Japanese households simply own fewer of them. Clothes are curated rather than accumulated. Decorations are chosen carefully instead of collected randomly. Many families ask a simple question before buying anything new. Will this earn its place, or will it just become one more thing to store? It's not about minimalism as an aesthetic trend. It's about making sure everything in the home actually earns its place. And when a home holds fewer things, every remaining item has room to breathe. Once clutter is gone, the next challenge is making sure new clutter doesn't quietly creep back in. Number 8. A designated spot for absolutely everything. In many Japanese homes, nothing is ever left to wander. Keys have a tray by the door, mail has a small basket, even remote controls have a fixed home on the shelf. This habit, sometimes taught to children from a young age, prevents the slow buildup of misplaced objects that eventually turns into visual chaos. Some households even keep a small tray by the entrance specifically for items heading out the door the next morning, so nothing gets forgotten or left scattered overnight. When every item has an assigned spot, tidying up takes seconds instead of hours. The home doesn't stay clean because someone constantly cleans it. It stays clean because nothing was ever allowed to become clutter in the first place. But even with everything in its place, small apartments still need clever tricks to handle daily life. Number 7. Genkin entryways that separate outside from inside. Step into almost any Japanese home, and you'll notice a small sunken area right at the entrance called the genkan. This is where shoes come off before stepping onto the main floor. It might sound like a minor detail, but it serves a bigger purpose. It creates a clear boundary between the outside world and the living space, both physically and psychologically. Many genkan include a slim shoe cabinet called a getabako, tall and narrow enough to fit against the wall without taking up any real floor space. Dirt and clutter stay contained at the door instead of spreading throughout the home. And because shoes never pile up in hallways or living rooms, the entire home feels calmer the moment you walk in. From the entrance, let's move to a space most homes struggle to keep organized: the kitchen. Number 6. Compact kitchens designed around efficiency, not size. Japanese kitchens are often small, sometimes shockingly so, yet they rarely feel disorganized. That's because every inch is planned with intention. Slim cabinets replace bulky ones. Pull-out drawers replace deep cupboards where items get lost. Wall-mounted racks keep pots and pans off the counter. Even the space above the sink or beside the refrigerator is treated as prime real estate rather than empty gap. Nothing is wasted, and nothing is left to chance. Rather than wishing for a bigger kitchen, Japanese design asks a different question. How can this kitchen work smarter with the space it already has? And that same question extends beyond the kitchen into how entire rooms are allowed to change shape. Number 5. Sliding doors and shoji screens instead of fixed walls. Traditional Japanese homes rarely commit permanently to one layout. Sliding doors, known as fusuma, and translucent paper screens called shoji allow a single room to become 2 or 2 rooms to become 1, depending on the moment. A living room can transform into a bedroom at night. A large open space can divide into private areas when guests arrive. Because these panels slide along a track instead of swinging open like a normal door, they never require the extra clearance space that a hinged door would need. Unlike a solid wall, these panels don't demand permanent space and don't block light completely. It's flexibility built directly into the architecture, allowing tiny apartments to serve far more purposes than their size would suggest. But flexible rooms are only half the story. What about the belongings that don't get used every day? Number 4. Seasonal rotation instead of year-round storage. Many Japanese households don't try to store every possession at once. Instead, they rotate belongings with the seasons. Heavy winter blankets get packed away during summer. Fans and cooling items disappear once autumn arrives. Traditional closets called oshir are specifically designed to hold these rotating items in labeled containers, out of sight until they're needed again. Vacuum storage bags are also common for bulky items like futons and comforters, compressing them down to a fraction of their size until the season calls for them again. This habit means a closet never has to hold everything at once, only what's relevant right now. It's a quiet reminder that not every item needs to be visible or accessible all year long. Once storage becomes seasonal, even furniture itself can start disappearing when it's not in use. Number 3. Foldable and stackable everything. From futons that fold away each morning to stackable stools that tuck beneath a table, Japanese homes are filled with objects designed to shrink when they're not needed. A dining table might fold flat against the wall after dinner. Extra chairs might stack neatly in a corner instead of surrounding a table all day. Even laundry racks and ironing boards are often designed to collapse into a slim profile that slides behind a door or inside a narrow closet. This habit keeps rooms adaptable, letting the same square meters serve breakfast, work, and sleep without ever feeling permanently crowded by any single function. And speaking of adaptability, even the smallest, most awkward corners of a home rarely go to waste. Number 2. Turning dead space into functional space. The narrow gap beside a refrigerator, the empty wall above a doorway, the awkward corner behind a door. In many homes around the world, these spaces are simply ignored. In Japan, they're treated as opportunities. Slim rolling carts slide into narrow gaps. Small shelves mount above door frames. Hooks and racks fill in awkward corners that would otherwise sit empty. Even the gap behind a bathroom door or beside a washing machine often holds a slim, purpose-built rack that would look out of place anywhere except that exact sliver of space. It's a mindset shift. Instead of asking whether a space is big enough to matter, Japanese design asks whether it can be made useful at all. And that mindset leads to the final secret, the one that ties every other idea together. Number 1, designing for calm, not just for storage. At the center of it all is a simple truth. A small space that feels calm will always feel bigger than a large space that feels chaotic. Japanese interiors are built around visual quietness, clean lines, uncluttered surfaces, and a sense of order that puts the mind at ease. Even color choices play a role here, with muted tones and natural materials like wood and paper chosen specifically because they don't compete for attention the way bright colors or busy patterns do. A cluttered desk, a messy shelf, or a countertop full of random objects forces the eye to constantly search for order. A calm room does the opposite. It lets the eye rest. It's not just about fitting more things into less space. It's about designing an environment where the eye doesn't have to work to find peace. And once a space feels calm, it stops feeling small altogether. Looking at these 12 secrets together, a pattern becomes clear. Japanese homes don't feel spacious because they're secretly larger than they appear. They feel spacious because every choice, from furniture to lighting to what gets stored and what gets removed, is made with intention. Nothing is left to chance and nothing is wasted. It's proof that a home doesn't need more square meters to feel bigger. Sometimes it just needs a smarter way of living in the space it already has. If you enjoyed these Japanese secrets, subscribe for more clever ideas that make everyday life easier.